Okay, well, again, hello everyone. I am Just Jerry, and we're going live on Instagram. I want to share, we're going to talk a little bit about men's mental health. And I have my friend here, Paul Posey. He's going to share a little bit with the work that he's doing that's just totally amazing. I had the opportunity and the honor to meet Paul this past April at an event that he was a panelist, Treasure Keys in Atlanta. And I was invited by one of the other participants, one of the other panelists. And as Paul spoke and shared his story, how transparent he was, the information he had to share, and how vulnerable, of a conversation he was willing to have as a man, a Black man, and it was really, really powerful. It was powerful. It was moving, and it was memorable. I remember specifically kind of noting in my program book, like, I need to connect with him to see what he's doing and how I can assist. And so here we are. I want to make sure to use my platform and share the information and get the word out because Paul has a message. So, Paul, thank you for joining me on live tonight. Can you please take some time to introduce yourself, your company, and I don't want to say any more until you speak.
Okay. So, I'm born and raised in Gariana, joined the Marine Corps. My life started changing. I started growing. I started making mistakes. And I think I broke a couple of records. I think I'm like the master of mistakes. I made so many mistakes that it came to a screeching halt in 2016. And I really understood I needed some help. And someone told me in a whisper, you need help, you need it right now. And I began to look inside and move some things around. And I began writing books. I've written 15 books. I wrote 12 books in 8 months, and then 3 more, just to show out. And and then the real work is I put it all on paper, and then I had to live in what I wrote. And that's where I'm at now. That I'm on the back end of my journey where I have a thorough understanding of who I am and what my purpose is right now in life, and that's to support and make sure we don't make any more Paul Posies, because some of those mistakes that you make,
the younger versions,
younger version, right? We don't want to make that anymore because there's way too many mistakes, and we take people on that journey as dads, as men, because we are the hub and they are the spokes to our life. And when we are in sync, when we are balanced, everybody else around us can find balance, but we have to do it first. So in meeting with Jerry and the crew of the Keys to the Treasure, it was supposed to happen. But on the other side of what I do, I'm also a professional photographer. If you've been on some of my pages, I've been blessed to do some phenomenal work and meet some great people. And now I'm pretty much business to business now. And it was just a great filler to this moment in time that men's mental health comes to the front. And I want to be a part of that to support the solutions to more men getting either some psychological help or some personal help, some coaches, some counseling, hell, whatever it takes for them to start realizing, they are important. Their situation is a moment in time, and growth can take place. And you can hit the restart button and find every spot you need to be in if you just be willing to surrender to the idea that you can't do this alone.
So good. And the fact that you can make that turnaround at any point in the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As long as you're breathing, you can make that change. Just don't be forced to. And I think that's what we tend to do, is to wait around till we're forced to, till we're incarcerated, or we have cancer, or we've been hurt to do so. we need to be more powerful. Powerful is your ability to make changes without negative stimuli. Every day you wake up, think about making a change that'll help you and help those who are connected to you. And that's the important part.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And what is that shirt you have on? Tell us about the shirt.
Yes. Well, I love negative to positive. I love it. I love it because what it started as a name on a sports car. I had a sports car back in 2010, and I was like, I want to do something powerful for this vehicle. I wanted to have a vanity name. So I asked the lady at the counter, I says, hey, how many letters do I get? And she was like, well, you get 7. And I stood there and I just got out the Marine Corps and I says, my life is going to change right now from a negative to a positive. And I also was an electrician in the Marine Corps. So negative to positive just all goes together. And that's what I did. So then I worked at a place, Federal Highway Administration later, and this guy made T-shirts. And I was like, hey, man, I need you to make me some T-shirts. And I said, I'm going to need some small, some medium, some large, and extra large, right? Not knowing where this is going.
Yeah.
So he makes the T-shirts, and occasionally I would just give the T-shirt out to people I knew. And then I began to work on my bachelor's in business management, and they says, hey, you need to come up with a business. And I came up with a mentoring business. This was back in 2015, early 2014. And I created a mentoring program called Negative to Positive. And I actually applied for it became a 501c3.
Nice.
And man, it just keeps getting added on to that.
Yeah.
And then I wrote my books, and then Negative to Positive went for the books. Now I have a business called Negative to Positive Books LLC, and that's where all the speaking and all that's going to fall under that. So I just watched it grow from like January. I think it was like January 2010 to right now. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I probably won't.
So negative.
I probably won't.
So negative to positive became your brand, your platform, in all aspects. As an author, as a speaker, as a transformed Black man in this world. Negative to positive is your message.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can turn this around, just like you said. At any time you can turn it around, but it's up to you when you want to turn it around. Just don't be forced to turn it around. And you can't turn it around. Well, when I first started my journey, I couldn't do it for myself. But I did it for my kids. That was the beginning of it. And then I got drunk with it. Then I figured out that I'm my own clay. And the things you do for yourself, and as a dad and as a man, it just does it for everybody, but you have to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it starts happening. People start asking you questions. Did you go through that where as you started making your changes and doing your inner work, did you see where people were asking you, what are you doing? Why do you seem so different?
Well, first you're going to shed friends. Let's be honest. You're going to shed some friends.
Yeah.
They're gonna say what the hell wrong with you, or how come you're not hanging out anymore, or why don't we do this and that? So they're gonna leave first.
That's
and those
true.
who are drawn to change, they're going to talk to you, and they're going to ask you questions. How did you do what you did? You know, what did it cost you? There's a price and there's a cost. You know, and what was the key thing to doing it? And the key thing is to surrender to the idea that you need to change your life.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, on the other side of getting some help, whatever level you pick to help, whatever area you go, long as you don't do it by yourself. See, the helping part requires multiple people, but the walk is your walk. So I don't want people to confuse that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go through the journey. And so that's why we're doing this, Jerry. This is why we're making the next step, is to make sure other people can do the same thing. I've been on a lot of panels, and I've been frustrated on a lot of panels. And the reason I'm frustrated is we'll talk about it, but we don't hand out solutions.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, and we won't give what they're missing. We don't feed them. We just have a talk in front of them about how important mental health is. Now, that's a great conversation because it breaks the ice in yourself that says, okay, it is doable, and people like me, another man like myself, can change his life. And I just want to make sure that they know they don't have to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard enough because you can add all those other things that force you to go through the change, but you're still going to have to make the personal changes. So that's a double whammy right there if you're forced to, and then you still got to look at you. And you're going to have to, like what I said at the at this weekend, I was at the City of Atlanta had a men's mental health day, a mental health gathering for men. And I used the analogy of what we used to do in the Marine Corps. Every Thursday, we had to clean our barracks and we had to clean our rooms. And what we had to do was take everything out the room and put it in the hallway. And we had to clean all the stuff that was in the hallway. And then we had to clean the room. And then everything was brand new. And those things that cannot be in the room did not come back in the room. And I remember watching the older guys down the hall, and they were done in like 15, 20 minutes. But the newer guys, we had more stuff. We didn't know how to really clean. And so we could be there all night, depending on who was inspecting us. But the idea is, it's got to come out. You got to inspect it. You got to clean it. And then you got to put it back together. And some of those older guys, what they would do is those things that they didn't want to move, they never touched. And they were good to go as they were. So let's say some intangibles like integrity. Bring integrity back in the room in your brain housing group. Bring caring, understand what feelings are, get some emotional intelligence. Those things don't have to go out.
Yeah.
The things that waste our time, that cost us money, that cost us other people in our lives, that needs to go out, and it doesn't need to come back.
That's good. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the work that I feel, and maybe you could say the same. Just like some people, when they see a room, they know they need to address it, and they don't want to. They just close the door. I'll get to that another day. Absolutely. I'll come back to that.
Like boys used to do is just throw all the dirty clothes in the closet and close the closet. But you can't see it. Because you can't see it, but you know what? You can smell it. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And it's still, the stench of it still shows up in your life. To your point, the things that we don't let go of, the things that we don't detox ourselves from, out of our, out of our mentality, our paradigm, and everything, it still has a way of showing up. That's a really good analogy.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more. You mentioned your recent involvement with City of Atlanta. I know you've had a couple of different events where you've been out speaking. So tell us a little bit about these new partnerships that you're doing.
I got tired of being an island, and my therapist suggested that I join an organization, and that organization was Atlanta Black Chambers. Okay. And I got to be around those who are moving forward. So now I'm a business person, and I'm on my journey. So now I'm in good company on my journey, and those people that I shed a while ago, it was replaced with new people, for a different purpose and things like that. So that was that. And then I was at the Father's Day event with the City of Atlanta. Over the last 7 years, I've spoken at a lot of places, and what it did was it tempered my skin. Because it takes a lot to get out and to be, the word is transparent. I don't want to say it. Marines don't like to say vulnerable. Transparent in front of other men.
Yes.
Women, yes, but other men. And we have to get beyond that so we can, gather and grow, because he has some answers for me and he has some answers for me. Yeah. So joining the chamber, then I joined the Atlanta's Veteran Chamber of Commerce, and I've been hanging out at the Rice Center, meeting new people. I've gone to networking events. So what I ended up doing was adding new people while I was building my business at the same time, and they receive you different, And I know I'm a different person than the person I started on my journey back in 2016. Because I was still an angry person when I started. But now I don't let anything shake me. Now, there's some other things I did do too. I got my certificate in anger management. I'm an anger management specialist now.
Nice.
And then I did some work with NAMI. I work with Helping Hands Travels. That's a behavior company. I got with Miss Archer. You know,
nice.
That's how I got to meet you.
Yeah.
So I've been allowing myself to be pulled in these directions to see where I fit and get those gems.
Yeah.
Gems from everybody. And so when I met you, it was 3 people I made a great contact with, and that's why I'm completing my life coaches course because it's that season. You know, you wonder what am I supposed to be doing, and those little nuggets of information are coming. This is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I should be working with you, Jerry. I should be working with Yolanda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I should be working with Miss Archer. I should be working with the city of Atlanta because from that day, I had 4 brand new contacts that put me in a position to help other people, and it all stemmed from me stop trying to be an island and hiding in my home.
Yes, for sure. And let's not just go, roll past those names you threw out. Those are powerful names. Miss Cheryl Archer, the author of Beyond Tinted Lenses.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity and the pleasure to work with Miss Cheryl to get her first book published, Beyond Tinted Lenses. And she has taken that book and started running with it to hold sessions and discussions around the content of her book and her mission to move forward and change lives. And so excited for Miss Cheryl Archer. Hello. Also, Yolanda Pride Foster of Pride and Joy Life and Consulting. Powerful human being. So glad that you are working with her and going through the coaching certification. That's amazing. So please look these ladies up. He threw these names out, but again, we're sitting here talking to Paul. We're talking to the product of who he has been in contact with. Yes, please tell us about some of your books.
Yes. So this is the flagship right here. This is my book called I Am My Own Dad. I talk about meeting my dad at 27 after my mother told me he was dead, and come to find out he was alive, and how that transition went from not knowing him to dealing with her and her trauma, and then going back to not knowing him at all. And then I understood that we need to find a way to start reconnecting these men with their sons and daughters who have been written off and know how to do it. So in the back of the book, there's always, I think your greatest books have a call to action. And this is not a really big book, but it's a strong book. And in the back, we talk about that. Like, what does it take to be a better dad? Talking to other dads.
Yes.
Being afraid to. It's things like that. And I have a book called 75% Man. It's over there. And it talks about boys with trauma becoming dads with traumas, becoming husbands with trauma, and what it looks like to the family and how it affects the family. And that's why I say it's so important that once you get to the other side, it actually heals your family. You change your family when you start becoming the man you could possibly be. And I wrote a book called When You Wake Up. And in that book is when I realized how important I was to my kids and all the steps I had to do, starting with me, like learning how to make powerful decisions, not emotional decisions, but powerful decisions that can last 10 years.
Yes.
See, when you don't understand how to make decisions, you make decisions that only last maybe 10 days or 10 minutes. So you need to understand in your role as dad and as a man, you have to make visionary type decisions for your family, and not be afraid to go ask somebody else, how did you accomplish that? And you notice I keep saying stop being an island, and that's what helps me to understand the books that I wrote, is to help other people know that when you start applying these things for yourself, it will just manifest in your family. Then you're no longer an island. You could be an island together, everybody on the island, but you won't be standing by yourself.
Being an island together, that's community.
Yeah, absolutely. You can bump into another community and then before you know it, it's a cultural thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we're a communal people. We don't even realize the synergy and the upbuilding, the encouraging that can come from being connected to the right people. So I love how you mentioned, shedding of friends, being a part of that transformation, and then just allowing purpose, allowing, your walk and your inner work to now bring people into your life that are going to add value, that are going to speak to your purpose, that have something, that add to the path that you're on. So I think that's really powerful. I think it speaks a lot to men and women, both. But at the same time, I want to make sure to give a little bit of time for what you have coming up. And I'm so excited to be partnering with you and supporting this next move that you're making. So tell us a little bit about what men should expect on August 10th.
You should expect indulging in conversations that we don't have to worry about being interrupted as we crack that lower ceiling of understanding and emotional, intellectual being, that part of us that we don't get to display, that we're afraid to display. We're going to have those tough conversations, and it's going to be interactive. It's not going to be me talking to you for 45 minutes. It's going to be us, because I am no different than you, and I'm going to share some of the things that I've done. You're going to share some of the things that you've done, if you want. But it's really going to help us, and it's going to take a whole day.
Yeah.
I got tired of being on panels. We only lasted 20 minutes. Right. But trust and believe, we're going to interact the whole day. Then you'll see that you have the ability to get on that personal journey and to keep going. And then we're going to connect you with some people that can do some follow-up. And that's also why I went and got the coach's certification, is because I want to help you to keep going. Living your best life, you're going to need some other people that are living their best life, so you guys can bring it together. So that's what we're doing August 10th. That's the beginning. Yeah. That is the beginning, right? Because we've got 5 more months. Yeah. Because one of the things I didn't like was we only did it for a few minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So now we're going to start off. We're going to work a whole day at it, and then we're going to build each month from September, October, November. We're going to skip December. And then we're going to come back together in January. And then I'm going to take another group of men starting in January and go 6 months and do the same thing. So this is nothing like I've seen when I've gone to a lot of places where they just talk to you, they talk at you, then they send you home. That's not going to be the case. I want to go on that journey with you. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to be excited. Now, this ain't for the faint of heart.
He said he was a Marine, y'all. He's a
No, wait. I didn't mean it like that. I meant that you're going to actually venture inside and look at some things you hadn't looked at. And you're going to touch some things you didn't want to touch. The things you wanted to avoid, the conversations. Here's how growth goes. You're going to need to have the conversations you don't want to have are the conversations you need to have. Because you need an understanding and a direction when you're done with the conversation. So that's the plan, is to come together, have some real deal conversations, back and forth, and sharing and interactive. And it's only going to be men in the room.
Yes. I think that's just so amazing. I'm so excited to be supporting and giving, my services, my resources to just make this happen. It is so very important for our men to be able to gather in such a way. And I'm so thankful and appreciative to have come across your path and met you, Paul. I love what you're doing. So let me just give all the details. So the Negative to Positive, his brand, Negative to Positive for men only. 50 men can register for August 10th, Saturday, August 10th. You guys will be together from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. under the wonderful leadership, guidance, and facilitation of Paul Posey. You'll have the opportunity to what he has going on with either his books and the content of his books, and just how he has made some life transformations and is still on his journey, building himself up and making himself available for those coming behind him. Men ages 16 and up. Yeah. So we're talking about our young boys, I ain't gonna say boys. Ain't no boys in this. Our young men, our young adult men ages 16 and up, you are welcome to register and get your tickets. The tickets are only $25. You can go to Eventbrite, NEG2POS, NEG, the number 2, POS, .eventbrite.com, and I'll make sure to leave the link as well. But please go ahead and get registered. It is only for 50 men. All right, we want to make sure you can have a chance to join us. Paul, you have anything else to say before we close out?
We're gonna feed you. Yeah.
And you get
I don't want you guys to think we're gonna sit there for that long. We're not gonna eat. We're gonna eat, and it's gonna be a wonderful thing. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you again, Paul, for joining me. We will do this again. But you guys just please follow Paul. You can see where his Instagram is showing, NEG_2_POS. You can follow him here. Also click his links in his bio to connect to his website, his Facebook page if you're on Facebook. Follow him. Get registered for August 10th. Stay connected. He has more content coming. Thank you again, Paul. And
my YouTube, Paul Posey on YouTube. Yeah, there's some gems out there. Yes, I've been at this for 7 years, and I've been dropping some stuff out there. I've been preparing myself for you.
Nice.
I am truly have.
Nice. So y'all go out there and Google Paul Posey, Google negative to positive, and everything that pulls up, follow it, connect with Paul Posey, and get registered for August 10th. All right. Thank you, Paul, for your time.
You're so welcome. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, take care.